I thought maybe the best way to help give a little bit of extra value to Chapter 7 was not to talk about, setting up your own laptop to be on the internet, things of that nature, but maybe a best practice on how to set up your home network would be the most valuable to you in the vein of keeping your stuff safe and secure. So I have a page here in the data dump called Chapter 7 Network. So that's something you're going to see right here, but it's going to be something that you can click through when you listen to or watch the video later. What I have picked is Linksys, not because I have any personal preference for that, but because if you go to a Best Buy, if you go to your cable provider and you get a wireless router from them, very probably it was built by Linksys. So the kind of the definitions, the vocabulary, and the stuff that we're going to see here is going to be something that you'll see when you go poking around at your own personal router at home. What I have for you here in this section is just a little bit of a cheat sheet to secure your router and therefore to secure your own home area network or your LAN at home. These are the things that you have to do is change the router password because those come standard from the factory, is to change the router name because those come standard from the factory, to do something about your wireless your wireless network name and your wireless password, and to broadcast or not to broadcast your SSID, which is your wireless network name. If you do these 5 things, you will have secured your network from just the lazy internet garbage storm that everybody's kind of liable to be, access to. Now, is that going to stop like the Department of Defense or some highly skilled team of crack engineers getting in? No, but if that's what you worried about, like, this is not the kind of class for you. This is for the rest of us who aim to stay out of jail. So these are the things we're going to look at really quickly if we follow through on this link right here, ul.linksys.com. I just have the list of all of their routers open here. If you just look at the bottom of your wireless router at home, you should see a wireless router name, something like this. And you can probably scroll down through here and find exactly your router. I'm just picking one because I just did a search at bestbuy.com and this router showed up there. So that means it's new enough that you'll see, this actually in a store, and I thought that was a good place to start. So it really doesn't matter which one you click on, but if you want to search for the one that I am clicking through to, it's WRT1200AC. So that means it's a wireless router. It's 1200 AC. 1200 AC is the speed that this router can accommodate. That's 1200 megabits in AC mode. So we do have to pick a version, so I just click through and I'm going to click on the only version that they're going to let me do. You'll notice that the first time I sign in, it's probably going to have a default password. That's something you can locate on the bottom of your router. So if I just click sign in, it's actually just going to let me, because it's all just pretend essentially. Anyway, this is where you'd be able to see exactly what's happening with your router, exactly what's happening with your network. So it would tell you things like how many devices are connected, whether or not it's connected to the internet, things of that nature. So we're just going to go ahead and change a couple of settings. And again, it's these 5 things that I've got here for you at near the top of that page: the router password, the router name, the wireless name, the wireless password, and your SSID. So in no particular order, what we're going to look for right here in router settings, first and foremost, is security, because that's where the good stuff is going to be. If you look through here, probably you don't need to change anything. If you're really worried about people on your network, think children, think other renters, think things of that nature who are pushing the limits of what your internet service provider is going to like in the way of what their traffic is. You could do something about that here. My suggestion is you probably really don't have to, so I'm just going to hit cancel. Here in wireless, this is one of the things we definitely do want to change. This is where we can broadcast SSID. So when you go into settings and you look for open and available networks, if you have broadcast SSID, your network is going to show up as one of the ones that you can join. If you want to stop people from ever even knowing that your network is there, just select no. This means that even though your network is being broadcast, it's just not broadcasting its name. So that means you can't find it. Here in network name, this is the name of the network. So the thing that would show up in your wireless networks list. So I'm just going to call it RVC. And here you can see that you need a password. My suggestion to you is maybe. So my house is geographically located in the center of all of my friends and relatives. Not on purpose, it just happened that way. So when people say things like, hey, we would like to have, a holiday party, it comes to Eric's house. When people want a barbecue in the summer, they come to Eric's house. This is a huge pain in my ass because invariably people come over and then they want to use their phones. And then they're like, but I want to get on your network. And then I have to either sign them in or give them the password and blah, 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 blah. So what I tell them instead is I would say something like, just join RVC. And here under password, I would actually take that out. And here I would say no security mode on this, because unless you know the name of my network, unless you know that it's there, you're not going to be able to find it. So I actually argue that this is good enough when you're at home because it's not that big a deal. So this particular router, and most of the routers you can get, actually have two different networks that they can broadcast, a 2 gigahertz and a 5 gigahertz. What I end up doing is the 2 gigahertz one is a little bit slower and it doesn't broadcast as far. This one I give to guests and relatives. This one I save for myself. So this one, I would give another name, RVC2. I would give it a password. This is, I can't spell. This is a password. And away we go. And again, I would turn off broadcast SSID so that anybody driving by, anybody parked in my driveway, anybody in my own home doesn't have to know necessarily that this network is there. Now, I would hit apply. And that's going to change the settings. I'm just going to hit cancel here so that this moves along a little bit faster. Any of the other settings that we want to change would be as follows. If we come in through... Here we go. At the very top, edit name. This is the name of the router. So this is standard. Linksys 00075 is the name of the router, right? So when you go to Best Buy and you purchase this, everything on the internet knows that this is a Linksys 00075 simply by changing the name of this. So I'm just going to call it RVC Psych. So RVC Psych, that means that the bots that can come through, those little applications that people run that say like scan for networks out there and scan for weaknesses out there, they're going to have no clue what that is. So already that makes your network more secure. You have changed the name of the network that people can join. You can change the name of the router that broadcasts to the internet, and boom, we're actually a little bit more secure than we were on the other side. The very last thing, I'm coming in through connectivity. The very last things that you can do to keep your network secure are here under administration. Typically are here under administration. Let me just click through. And oh, we've hit the end of this being cooperative, I'm afraid. There we go. Here we go. This is where we can change things like the router password. This is one of the things that you absolutely positively do need to do very, very first thing. My suggestion is, I know you're going to forget what the router password is. Just put it on a sticky note and tape it right to the bottom of your router. It's my feeling that if somebody is in your house that you don't want there, that is going to break into your router, look, there's way worse things that could happen. Like, you could be in the house at the same time, then they find your router password. Like, just stick it right on top of there, unless, again, you're afraid that the FBI is going to find it, in which case, like, just don't tell me about it because I don't want to know. So this is where you would change that default router password. If we change the router password, we change the router name, we change our internet broadcast SSID settings and our internet password settings for that, you have created a relatively secure environment for your home that you can feel like, yeah, I'm going to be secure enough against most everything that's on the internet that can find me without any interaction from me. So these things are all right here on the Chapter 7 Networks page. That the stuff we just went through is right here, and these are absolutely settings that you want to change on your router at home ASAFP. If for whatever reason you feel like your internet connection is slowing down, it's not you, it probably really is running slowly, do the following things. And the order of operations here does matter. Your router first, that's the thing closest to the wall. Now, if you're renting from your internet service provider, these are very, very possibly the same thing. But if not, this is the thing you get from your internet service provider. This is the thing that gives you wireless internet access through your house. After you've unplugged these two things, wait a couple of minutes. And that really is a portion of the process here. There's a little, it's called a CMOS battery in there that holds a charge for a couple of minutes, usually 60 seconds, but sometimes a little bit longer. Wait 1 or 2 minutes. Go make coffee, go make tea, go have a sandwich, go, work out real quick, and then come back. And then you want to plug in your modem. That's the one inside your network first, so that gets up and running. And then your router, that's the one that's closest to the wall outside of your house. And that will hopefully jar loose any bad settings that your router or your modem would have had that were going to slow down your network. So this, I think, is the best supplement I can give you for Chapter 7. Securing your home network, and ensuring that you're getting the best possible connection speeds are far more valuable than some of the other information in there.